Tonight, Mount Smart renamed Shaun Johnson Stadium. Joining us, 101 games for the Warriors between 99 and 05. Old mate, Monty Betham. Monty, what is more important tonight, Shaun Johnson's farewell or winning the game?
Both.
And both
probably
equal?
Shaun, actually.
You think so?
No, probably Shaun, actually. Yeah, I think so marginally because, this season is a write-off. It is gone. And yes, there are games that you should have potentially have won, but, you've got a guy who's given such service to this club for a very long period of time. So marginally, it's Shaun, but equally as important, I think they having a win helps celebrate a guy that has done so much for the club.
Why has it been such a disaster in terms of results this year?
Well, there's a number of factors and reasons, Marty, and, I'm not part of the coaching staff, but when you're looking from afar and you look in, there's moments in games where the boys haven't been up to it like they were last year, across the board last year. They're all playing to the best of their abilities. You had a guy leading the Daily M overall in Shaun Johnson, and that was the guy steering the ship, and then you had other players in career best form, getting Daily M wingers and props as well. So when you're not playing well, when you're lacking confidence, when you're not kicking your goals, going up in sixes, and when you're not having the same resolve that you've had the year previous, unfortunately you can't win enough games to be in the 8.
When you say that not having enough resolve, what do you mean by that?
Well, you look across the board defensively, and if you think about where they were last year, and then in the 20 when oppositions were in there, it took a long time to get in, but unfortunately at the moment now for the Warriors, they're averaging try every 8 tackles in the opposition 20, so you'd think that there is not enough resolve, or there's not enough technique or execution defensively on that side. In the same time last year when you're thinking about what they would just turn sides away for a number of sets on their own line.
So when we, I keep looking at the last 4 seasons and it's 8 wins, 6 wins, 16 wins and 8 wins. Does that mean that last year was an outlier? I mean, how can we have confidence that we're going to go back and hopefully have a season like that next year, or we're going to actually just repeat this year?
Well, the great thing about it is you're going to go away and you're going to have a big pre-season. If you're thinking about just what happens in past seasons, or if you're just worried about what happened 2 seasons before, or you're accumulating what's happened over 4 or 5 seasons, you're probably not in it for the right reasons. But, there is a side that is definitely disappointed and down on where they know they should be as a side, and they've been looking to try and resurrect the province throughout the year. We've got a coaching staff working very hard as well, and it's not good enough, and it's definitely not the way you want to send off 3 of the guys that are going to play in the jumper at home for the very, very last time. But, we've been in a situation before. I've been in a situation before where your back's against the wall and you've just got to turn up and you've got to do your absolute best week in, week out, and that hasn't been the case for a number of reasons, whether it be not quite right, or you're not getting your kicks, or there's been injuries in games, or you just haven't aimed up where you meant to aim up as an individual.
So during your time, 99 through 05, and we had this magic run where we make a grand final, and then we're a game away from a grand final. Mons, just how hard is it to be consistent enough to make that 8 year after year? Because look, we talked at the start of the year, and I know that a lot of people had lofty ambitions, but mine was just simply, let's get back to the finals. If we can do that for 2 or 3 or 4 years in a row, where we are legit.
Absolutely, but when you mention 4 years in a row, it's never been done before at this club. 2001 to 3 was 3 years in a row, and I think through Ivan Cleary's period, he would have gone 5 years in a row, but he had a gap in between, so it was, I think it was 07, 08, he missed 09, but then he made the following 2 years. So it's yet to be done at all, and I think about the Bulldogs who's in fine form coming here tonight at Go Media Stadium. They haven't been in the playoffs since 2016.
So
it is a really hard competition.
Is the squad good enough, or does the squad need to be stripped back again?
I look at the squad, and I've been through this situation for a number of months, and I'm just in disbelief, looking at the table, looking at what the side could do or should do and have done last year, and looking at the opposition, and I go, look, as we all know, it's a cliche, the game is not played on paper, but still sometimes I scratch my head, and there are moments, and we've got a great coaching staff that are going to go away, and they've been working at it now through this year to try and resurrect the problems that are within. So they, no doubt, through this off-season, they get a few recruits back, and they get time to reflect, and it'll be a different looking Warriors side next year for sure.
Monty Betham is with us, 101 games for the club, 99.05. All right, tonight, Doggies, and they do come on the back of a four-match win streak. And look, I've been reading the Sydney papers, mate, and there's a lot of talk about, could this be the one side, if they finish outside the top four, that they could actually become the first to actually win it outside of that. They're a team that everyone is. I mean, they're almost like the darlings of the comp this year, like we were last year.
Absolutely, and when you back what you do on the field up with the best defence in the competition, or one of the best defence in the competition, you'd like to think that you're a real chance. And when you've got the man at the helm, your captain, who's an absolute freak, who's won 3 grand finals already, and you're leading the way even at the tender age of 23. It's pretty frightening. We're talking about Critter, Stephen Crichton.
Yeah, man. What a player.
He's in. The fine form he's in, and everyone following him. With the sprinkling of Penrith talent that have been there in past grand finals and getting the job done, they are a little bit scary. Although I think tonight they will miss Josh Curran. He's played 21 games this year, which is pretty much every game of the season for the Dogs. I think he got injured. My son told me this morning before he left the house. So
he's keeping up with all the news. Good on him, mate. That's it. Yeah,
absolutely.